The developing story now says they had an argument after the proposal and they ended up sleeping in different rooms, and then the following day she was found unalive.
Again, the new information today, officials say they are holding Joe McCann for questioning and are holding his passport.
Y'all, could Ashlee Jenae's fiance really be tied to some kind of Tanzanian trafficking? I know. That sounds like a huge jump. Like, that is a big claim to even say out loud. But with everything that's been coming out and how none of it is lining up the way it should, people are starting to question everything. And at this point, if something shocking came out, a lot of people wouldn't even be surprised anymore. Because here's what's making this even more unsettling. In the year leading up to all of this, his crypto fund was reportedly going through serious problems. We're talking deals falling apart, like that August 2025 merger that was supposed to take a Solana treasury company public, suddenly getting called off. And around that same time, he allegedly admitted the fund had lost something like 80% of its value that year.
You're telling me that Ashlee's fiance Joe found her, took her to the hospital, and yet did not inform the parents of the situation until 11 hours later.
So now people are connecting dots, wondering if he was under financial pressure, possibly in debt, maybe trying to hold things together behind the scenes while everything was quietly falling apart. And when you put that next to what happened to Ashlee, it just makes the whole situation feel even heavier. Because as y'all know, this entire Ashlee Jenae situation just does not make sense to a lot of people. Like, nothing about the timeline, the details, or even the explanations feels clear. And one comment I kept seeing everywhere pretty much summed up what people are thinking. Someone said, nobody unalives themselves after being on a birthday high and engagement high, there's no way. And that right there, that's exactly why people are questioning everything. Now, from what's been found through public records and social media deep dives, he was reportedly married before. His previous marriage was to a woman named Shay Jackson back in 2018, and that relationship ended in divorce in 2021. He also has 2 children from that marriage. And before getting engaged to Ashlee, the 2 of them had reportedly been together for over a year. So on the surface, it looks like a pretty standard relationship history. Nothing too out of the ordinary. But then you get into his professional life, and that's where things start to feel a bit more complicated. He's known in the crypto world as the founder and CEO of a hedge fund called Asymmetric, which is backed by major Silicon Valley investors. Before that, he had roles at companies like Microsoft in cloud and AI, and he also led NodeSource as CEO before it exited in 2019. So his career trajectory has been fast, high level, and very public, but then come the setbacks. Because in that same year leading up to Ashlee's death, reports say his fund faced major challenges. Deals falling through, losses stacking up, and uncertainty growing. And when you combine financial pressure with a high-profile lifestyle, people start wondering what was really going on behind the scenes. Then there's his behavior around the time of the incident, which has also raised eyebrows. Ashlee's last post was on April 5th, but he remained active on X up until April 8th. And what really caught people's attention is that he was still posting about an AI success story just hours before he reportedly found her unconscious. And for a lot of people, that timing feels off. And then, shortly after her death, people noticed his Instagram had been completely cleared out. No posts, nothing. And of course, that immediately sparked reactions because people are like, why wipe your page right when an investigation is happening? Now, to be clear, none of that proves anything on its own, but it definitely added to the growing sense that something wasn't sitting right. So let's talk about where things currently stand. As of right now, the case is still under heavy investigation. Authorities in Tanzania are actively looking into it, and the US Embassy is also involved. Her fiancé is reportedly being questioned, and while he hasn't been formally charged, his passport has been withheld while they wait for autopsy results.
I obtained video of a news conference today in Tanzania in which officials say they are holding Joe McCann for questioning and they are holding his passport while police wait for the postmortem.
And here's where things get even more complicated. He reportedly told authorities that Ashlee died by suicide, but her family, they strongly disagree with that. They've been very vocal about the fact that she was at a high point in her life. She had just celebrated her birthday, she had just gotten engaged, and according to them, there were no signs that anything was wrong. Because think about it, she had just gotten engaged days before. She was traveling, celebrating, posting, living her life. And then suddenly, everything changes overnight?
We're not too sure what happened. That's what we're trying to find out. I got 2 emails today from the embassy in Zanzibar, and it said the investigation is still ongoing. That they have not determined the cause of death yet at all, and the investigation is still ongoing and still pending right now. So there has nothing official has been released That's what we're trying to find out. We just want answers.
That's why her family has taken extra steps. They've sent their own representative to be present during the autopsy, and they've been granted permission by the U.S. Embassy to monitor the investigation closely. They're not just accepting what they're being told, they want answers. And understandably so, because reports say hotel staff at the resort had to step in during what was described as a major misunderstanding or altercation between the two. And it wasn't minor, because staff ended up separating them for safety reasons. He was moved to a different villa, about a 10-minute walk away. So at that point, they're no longer together. Then, hours later, Ashlee is found unconscious in her villa. He claims he returned with a security guard to check on her and found her unresponsive. She was then taken to the hospital and pronounced dead the next day, April 10th. And that's the official sequence of events as it's been described so far. But even within that, there are questions. Because her family has pointed out several things that don't sit right with them. For one, they say he waited around 11 hours before notifying them that anything was wrong. And even then, they didn't hear it directly from him first. They found out through the hotel.
What was it that the hotel initially told you guys?
That the person, that Joe McCann, who she was traveling with, that he had found her and that they had taken her to the hospital.
We just think it's very odd that our daughter is traveling with Joe and we don't hear anything from Joe. To me, that's very odd. And initial call that she got from Joe was 11 hours after something had transpired in the room. And that's very odd. 11 hours later,
11 hours.
Something had transpired, and Joe just relayed to Yolanda that Ashlee was okay and she was stable and she was okay and don't worry about it.
That alone raised concerns for them. They've also been pushing for access to security footage from the resort because they want to verify exactly what happened that night, who went where, when, and how everything unfolded. And then there's another detail that people picked up on. Despite the engagement, it's been reported that he never asked her father for permission. Now that might not mean much to everyone, but for her family, it stood out as something that didn't align with how serious the relationship was being presented. So now, with all of this information out there, the internet has started doing what it always does. Digging, speculating, connecting dots, sometimes reaching, sometimes raising valid questions. And that's where those more extreme theories start coming in. Because when people see financial struggles, unusual behavior, gaps in communication, and a situation that doesn't fully make sense, they start trying to fill in the blanks themselves. And that's how you end up with claims about bigger networks, hidden motives, and things that go way beyond what's actually been confirmed. So the big question is still the same. Was this a tragic situation that's being misunderstood? Or are there details that haven't come out yet that could change everything? Because until the full investigation is done, people are going to keep watching, keep questioning, and keep trying to piece this together. And honestly, it really does feel like we haven't heard the full story yet.